with CSF?
Cerebral spinal fluid.
Cerebral spinal fluid. So these are a network of specialized cells called choroid plexus, and they're found in the ventricles of the brain. How many ventricles are there?
4.
There are 4 ventricles
I'm
in
so smart.
the brain.
She was hooked up.
4 ventricles.
What was it? 4 what?
4
4 what?
ventricles.
Ventricles.
I'm so smart.
Now there's 2 ventricles in the heart. Those are the pumping chambers of the heart. So don't get those confused with the 4 in the brain. So
4 in the
talking
brain, Gigi.
4 ventricles, it's got to be in the brain. 2 ventricles, we're usually talking about the heart. Okay?
Brain.
And it's basically just chambers in the brain.
It's hard.
And you have the, I think it's LES. These are the easiest ones you'll ever have to remember. There is the left and right lateral ventricle, and the third ventricle, and the fourth ventricle. Nice easy names, right?
Left and right ventricle.
3rd and 4th.
Those are your ventricles.
Pretty easy.
That is pretty easy.
Man, stuff makes so much sense now.
That one's not hard.
I feel like it's just a chapter that we have been reading over and over, and it's now coming together.
Okay, so we have to have CSF for what? Why do we have to have CSF?
Cause you said so.
Because it's sensitive. That's not why. It's a protective thing.
It's like a little bit of cushion, I guess.
It is a cushion. And it kind of holds, it's kind of floating in the cranial cavity because what are you surrounded by? What's your cranial cavity made of?
Bone.
Bone. We do not want the brain sliding up against a bone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have these 3 layers, the meninges, and then we also have the cerebral spinal fluid, which is going to make it a little bit harder to damage the brain. If you slam on your brakes and your brain goes forward, we have a little bit of a cushion there with the cerebral spinal fluid that's going to be swirling up and down. So it's a little protective, and it's also a way to clean up the stuff as well.
Is that why? So I was always taught that if they have CSF coming out of their ears, then most
And it
likely
can come out of the nose too.
suffer from a TBI.
It can be a TBI. It can also be concussive, like a sound concussion. It doesn't necessarily have to be a traumatic brain injury because you can get a tear in the CSF, especially in the front. If you've been in a fairly severe fight or if you've had some sort of injury where you've had damage to the brain of the head or the brain. So most of the time, this is going to indicate a traumatic brain injury because if you've got that much damage to where you've torn the dura enough to leak spinal fluid from your nose or your ears, there's a big problem. We need to get in there quickly or that person's probably not going to survive it.
I was ready to ask, can you stop that or fix it?
Okay, depending on the size of the tear.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do take cerebral spinal fluid in a spinal tap, and that's a pinprick size. It can repair itself. Unfortunately, if you're talking about a large enough tear to cause a leak through the nose or the ear, it's a pretty big tear. What happens is you'll need to take a break because I got to slide 4.
No, we don't need no break. We don't need break.
It's like 4. What happens is you've got the brain and the spinal cord, okay, and they're floating there. And your brain, y'all remember this big hole in the skull?
The spinal cord?
I'm sorry?
Obturator magnus or something.
So foramen magnum. Hold on.